How did you use new media technologies in the construction, research, planning and evaluation?
YouTube was useful for finding inspiration for our shots, looking at horror and psychological thriller trailers such as Fences and Sinister, and this helped us to gain an understanding of the typical conventions of our genre, such as having a young female protagonist and having a voiceover which helps the narrative. It also allowed us to upload test shots and drafts which we were then able to publish onto our blogs.
For filming, we used a Canon EOS 700D. It has 18 megapixels and a really high resolution, which meant our picture quality was also really good, and especially on the misty days the camera picked up the fog as well, and that kind of allowed us to capture the eerie atmosphere that we were aiming for. It also has a grid function, which was really good when we were trying to get the framing perfect, like using the rule of thirds. We used a basic tripod to mount it on some shots, and this allowed us to do the panning, kind of tilt shots, and also just make sure it was stable. Even though a little bit more basic, we also used our iPhones. This kind of ranged from the 6 to the 6S, and we used it for basic shots like when the phone was on the ground looking up at our protagonist. And we found this a little bit more useful because obviously the phones are a bit smaller than the Canon camera, so they fit easily in the ground and we weren't too worried about damaging the lens. It was also really good for when we did our location recce and went to go scout out locations, because you could just really easily take a picture or a little video and then that was really easily uploaded. We also used it in voice notes, so when we needed to have a little voice recording, did it on the iPhone, and then it was so quick to just airdrop it to the Mac and just straight away put it into iMovie to be used.
Finally, Blogger, where we were able to document all planning, research and creative ideas which we could then produce into creative formats such as pictocharts, prezzies and e-mazes.
To edit our trailer we used iMovie. This was quite useful as we were able to really quickly and easily upload from sources such as our camera as well as other programs like iTunes. It also allowed us to use transitions and edits such as the overlay, which we found quite effective, as well as kind of downloading like glitches from the internet and popping that in and changing the transparency and everything. Overall it was quite an effective piece of software. However, sometimes it was a little bit too basic. Like we had times where we were trying to overlay our antagonist in the reflection of the protagonist, but with the kind of edits and software on iMovie it wasn't possible, so that's kind of one thing that we didn't find too great about it.